Hello, beautiful souls. Samantha here from Branches of Vibrational Healing. I have been receiving a lot of downloads and like epiphanies, aha moments, spirit drop-ins, whatever you really want to call them, that I feel important to share because I feel like they're pretty colossal to people's growth and what we're going through individually, as a whole, and as a collective, right? So one of the things that came in this morning, and I was talking to one of my clients. Let me backtrack. I was talking to one of my clients last night who we were speaking about luck. And I said, what does luck mean to you? And she was like, it's opportunity, it's expansion, it's openness. And that's what her heart told her. Her thinking mind told her like money, abundance, connection, stuff like that. So, anyways, so this morning, as soon as I woke up, I literally heard, it's not good luck, it's alignment. And I'm like, huh. So bad luck is not aligned, right? But we look at it as bad luck. And I thought that was pretty powerful because it's like if you're aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, the universe conspires to support you with that. And because it's aligned with you. It feels right and it feels like home. Like when I went to Hawaii this summer, I was literally guided to be there because my passport, I ordered it in March, expedited it, paid extra, it never came. Wanted to go to Greece. A bunch of factors came into play, and Spirit was like, no, you're meant to, like, it was became very, very viscerally clear I was meant to go to Hawaii, even though I've never wanted to go to Hawaii. I felt like home there. I felt aligned. People like, oh, you're so lucky you got to go to Hawaii. And I was like, yeah, but I also did a lot of things to get here. But also the universe made the plane tickets cheaper, like made the Airbnbs all work out exactly how they needed to fit our finances, right? Like in our time. So it's like alignment, not luck, right? But that's just a simple example. So that's one thing. It's about mindset. It's about leading with your heart, right? Um, so the other thing that was dropped into my awareness is if you try and picture this, if you see a building that is going through demolition, right? Like, or you're building your house, right? You're gutting you have to gut out the old one. You just have a building crumbling, a structure that needs to crumble or be cleared, right? In that process, so that's happening, while at the same time you're creating, you're making, you're thinking of a blueprint, of a new layout, of a new floor plan to then go into that home or into that space that is being cleared, right? That is literally what each of us is going through internally. Things are happening in our external for us to look within and see where things are literally falling apart for all the things that we've wanted and we've needed and we desire that are aligned with us, right? It's not coming from I want it because it's an ego thing. It's like, I want it because it's a soul. Oh, baby, yeah, right? That is on this blueprint. We might not have the whole floor plan and blueprint figured out, but it starts coming together. But at the same time, simultaneously, the structure is crumbling or the house is being gutted out, right? So let's use the house. The house is being gutted out. All right, what kind of stove do I want? What kind of floor do I want? What would look good? The paints, this and that. What kind of how do I want my rooms to be? Right? Who's gonna have what room? Whatever. It's happening the same time this is being dismantled, right? It's being cleared. We cannot bring in new and work from a new level. We can't work, we can't bring in the new without clearing and looking at the old crumble. Literally, we have to clear it out or watch the buildings crumble in order to bring in the new. And we are all, you can fight it or you can allow it, like with like that curious, because it's happening no matter what. We are all being called to do like a 360, like a circle, right? To look at all of our patterns, all of our beliefs, all of our vices that don't serve us. Um, Look at our anger, our guilt, our judgment, our scarcity mindset, our lack mindset, and look at it. Like, fucking look at it and kind of be like, wow, like all of that got me to where I'm now, but I'm not super comfortable. So, how do I welcome in this new, right? Well, you can't welcome the new if you're still playing in the old program. If you're still in that mindset of where you were before, that got you back to this point of, cool, now what? Like, right? Like um me uh, so it took me, so I've been doing my spiritual business for like solid maybe 2 years in November without being in the nursing field, like without working in the hospital. It really wasn't until the last like 8 months or so where I've owned, like, I own a spiritual business. I am a soul alchemy coach. I work as an energy practitioner. I work as a shaman. I work as an intuitive medium. Like, yeah, I speak to spirit. Yeah, I can give you your power animal. Yeah, I can do regression hypnotherapy on you. Like, yeah. Confidently, right? And it wasn't until this last week where a teacher who was running a workshop started off the class saying, there is no judgment here. Speak your truth. I'm just going to come at you with a question. I want you to answer it. Don't think about it, just answer it. And well, she looked at me and goes, why are you here? And I was like, well, I saw it online. It looked really interesting. I wanted to do it. And I'm a shaman. I was, I started to feel a judgment because she questioned those words. And internally, I felt crumbling. I felt dismantling. And I was starting to get hot, but I realized it was a different hot than I've gotten in the past when I'm publicly speaking about something I don't want to talk about, or I really don't know the topic and my face is turning red and I'm getting hot. Or when I do a little white lie and then someone calls me out on it and I get all embarrassed and hot, right? Like my little ego is like, oh my God. Or when I'm being like judged and I'm judging myself. Sorry, when I'm judging myself, I get hot. Like, am I doing good? Are they looking at me? Like, ha, right? It was a different hot that came in. I was like, this is interesting because she's challenging me. And she's like, how do you consider yourself a shaman? Were you born that way? Who trained you? Like, I just felt so much judgment, but I realized, hold on, this heat is dismantling something within me. I have a choice to let her words and her energy, that is literally her judging herself, her awareness, her background, how she does her thing, how she learned. She has no idea my background, knows nothing about me, just knows my first name. I could let her judgment bring that little scared me. Oh my God, is that not my truth? Like, right? But I heard this little voice because I was like, what is this? And it was like, no, stand in your truth. That was your truth. It just came out of you. That's your truth. No one can knock that. And I was like, so I was literally it was like I was dismantling this old belief that, okay, they're judging me, so I need to judge me, to bring about confidently, yes, I consider myself a shamanic practitioner. And I could see within her energetically and in her aura shifts of her, because it's like the wall kind of went up with me compassionately for myself, rather than me telling her off and be like, oh, isn't this a judgment free zone? Right? I could have projected onto her or onto myself, but instead, this shift happened in me, and it was a different fire. And I was like, oh. And then I was able to enjoy the class, even though I was thinking about in the back of my mind, thinking, right? Human mind, but my spirit was calm. My soul was settled, right? Like I didn't judge her. I was curious why that happened, why that situation, right? Why was I the first one to be called on? And then I, my expression caused her to express her belief in something when she has no idea who I am, right? So I'm walking in my car and I'm reflecting as I always do, talking to spirit. And they were like, I go, why did that happen? Like, she owns a business. She's been doing this for however many years she said she was doing it. She's older. Like, let me learn this. What is this? And it was like this deep knowing and this here I heard like for you to honor your truth, for you to look at that judgment piece, for you to like own it, right? And then I was thinking, oh my God, because I was just having a conversation with one of my clients earlier because she's all these degrees and accreditations. She's like, I know this would help me in society have this label. People would like value that more, right? And I said, yeah, because people value that I have this nursing background and this master's in education. And that's when it clicked to me that I finally owned this new higher vibrational frequency that is aligned with my soul that I was afraid to connect to, afraid of being judged by anybody, especially my family. I was afraid of stepping into that power, which is really just it's me. It's fucking me. Right? Like I'm in this meat suit, but it's my spirit is here to do so much, like so much. And I'm finally owning it. And so me being like, yes, I'm a shamanic practitioner. And then being judged, I realized I wasn't judging me, but I finally owned it rather than like I'm a nurse or I'm this or that, right? I owned it. And then that's when I reflected. I reflected today. It was like this drop in of you worked so hard to become a nurse. That's what you thought you wanted to do at that time, right? So you did it. You made it happen. You wanted to be an oncology nurse. You made it happen. You wanted to be an educator. You made it happen. And now I'm in this like weird world where I'm in between the dismantling and I'm looking at the floor plan, the blueprint, while I've now stepped into a new role of me that I never knew I would do. If you told me I'd be an alchemy coach right now, if you told me I'd be working with spirit every day, you told me I'd be aligning and I'd be high vibing and literally happy and know when my body's sick and know what it needs, like without a Google diagnosis. Like if you had told me that years ago, I'd be like, right? But I listened to my inner feeling in my body. And as I worked as a nurse, I tried new things and I took classes I was making the blueprint, like I was making the floor plan without knowing what the house was going to end up looking like, right? And then when I didn't take the shot and I lost my job because I didn't want to put something in my body that didn't align with my beliefs in my body, I realized, oh my God, I had already created a business because I was making the floor plan as I was crumbling. Holy shit. I just came into my awareness, like leading by example, right? And now, in this now moment, I want to write my books. I've been saying this for a while, right? If you've listened to me, I want to create certain workshops. I'm not going to put the titles on them. And I want to do group coaching. And all of these ideas are coming in, like how to do it. And I just got this really cool the other day, like healing modality downloaded into me that I'm to share with the world. I'm like, okay, like I want to do it all. I want to do it all. And it's like you are in a new layer of your floor plan. So no longer, so I'm not dismantling my shamanic self, this new energy that I'm owning. I'm using that and all of these gifts and experiences to bring into the courses, to bring into the books, but still remaining shamanic practitioner, medium, helper, guide, whatever, blah, 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 coach, right? Not giving up on that, but I'm literally just am in the creating process in here, etherically, right? But what had to happen, which now I'm just realizing, so colossal epiphany right now, that I haven't fully grieved that I am no longer working as a nurse, because that was once my dream, ecology nurse, right? I just knew I wanted to help people. Well, I am helping people in ways I never knew I could do. I knew it was possible, but I never knew I could do it, right? But I had to do it for me first. And I'm continue to do it for me every single day so I can show up for people every single day. Doesn't mean I have it figured out. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean right? Like every day I'm figuring it out. But I allow myself to, rather than look at the crumbling and the confusion as a negative thing. I'm like, wow, I'm being rebuilt. I'm being reborn. And I'm part of it because it's me, right? And the other thing that needs to come in with this is I know that me being a nurse and people coming to me because I'm a nurse, also in the spiritual realm, is intriguing. I get it. It intrigues me too. Because I can see where the healthcare system is really fucked up. Like I can see where there's a lot of it's not health. And I can see where people are trying to stop other people suffering while they're suffering and don't even know that they're suffering, or can't get out of their own way of their own suffering because they're so fixated on I have to fix these other people's sufferings. That's my job. This is how I make money. And every day I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to forget about myself. So it becomes very, very hard to work on yourself when you're always in other people's suffering, thinking that you actually can stop someone else from suffering. You can actually stop someone's disease from happening. You can't unless they are open to receiving and they are open to connecting internally to see their suffering and why they're suffering, right? Why are they sick? They have to see it. They have to go in and not be angry at it, not judge it, right? And that's what's being dismantled in society. That's why there's more mental health issues. That's why there's a lot more sicknesses. Yes, the shot had a lot to do with it. But I look at that. I look at the shot now as a catalyst of like awakening, of like, oh my God, yes, I got this. Maybe it's really fucking up my body. Or I'm gonna blame it on like this, or I'm gonna blame it on the weather. I'm gonna blame it on this, whatever you want to blame it on. But the food system, right? Like the foods that we eat, everything is dismantling so we can go inward and rebuild. We're all in a blueprint state of mind. How about that? And the other thing, so let me go back. I know that people come to me because I'm a nurse. I I know in my soul that I needed to be a nurse first in order to compassionately and empathetically connect with someone and learn boundaries. Learn how to discern energy, what's mine and what's not. I don't need to take in this person's energy and I don't need to be attached to what they do with what I share with them, right? Because I know that if they do the tools, they're going to have colossal, beautiful shifts. But it is not my responsibility of making them do the work. I just support them or I share with them what's coming in, what's here for them. And it's up to them to be responsible and literally do the work, literally trust this dismantling, this crumbling of the structure, right? Trust that it's a good thing in order to look at the floor plan. Trust that, oh my God, if I created my reality before being born and getting amnesia when I'm born, then I've also created all the people in my life, all of the potentials. So I knew that I would dismantle here and crumble because I'm in anxiety, or I hate my job, or I feel stuck, or my relationship's falling apart, or blah, 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 blah. If I did this before I was born, then I knew that there would be potentials and consequences, as in a consequence of like, if this happens, right? That this happening doesn't have to be a bad consequence. It's like, oh, that's an interesting consequence. I wonder what I was like thinking that like, what would happen if I did that, right? If you can look at that you literally plan this, things get easier. Because then you're like, oh, what did I have next for myself? Because I just got through some shit. What's next? Right. And our soul only wants us to be happy, but happiness scares us because we live in a society that lives in scarcity of happiness, of joy, of health, community. So, anyways, something I realized that last night I was sharing a story with my fiance about a client that came in and came to me literally because they saw that I was a shamanic practitioner. Okay. I didn't know this till the end of the session. They came in and just wanted whatever spirit had. Everything helped that person like shift internally, see the external brighter, whatever. Things shifted and it was very beautiful. And I'm sharing this with my fiance and he's like, "Oh, well, I didn't get to tell him yet that he came in as a shamanic practitioner. I was just sharing, like how beautiful the session was and what happened, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Well, it's because you're a nurse. Like, he definitely came to you because you're a nurse." And for some reason, I know why now, but inside, I started to get angry and triggered. And I was like, why am I getting angry? Like, I was catching myself as I was getting angry at Kevin's comment. And all Kevin was just saying, I was like, oh, you're a nurse. Because yes, it does help. It does help. People come to me because I do know a whole other world too. And I utilize them both. So I was triggered because I realized my nurse part is still in there, right? The part of me that worked really hard to become a nurse and then had her life cut off, right? That life cut off because of a decision that was more soul based versus ego based versus society control driven is still living in me, right? It's still here. It's like, hi, I'm here. What's wrong with being a nurse? And it was because I didn't get to share with Kevin that the guy came to me because he saw that I was a shamanic practitioner. And I realized, wow, I'm finally feeling confident and comfortable and at peace owning this new quote unquote version of me, but this new part of my soul that like I'm finally accepting. Yes, I am a shamanic practitioner, right? After literally the beginning of the week, that judgment situation happened at that workshop by that woman, right? And so it wasn't Kevin saying it. It was more so me internally realizing, oh, I'm in between two worlds right now, right? I'm literally in between two worlds. I'm owning my higher frequency. I'm not saying a nurse is lower frequency, but the mindset I was in was not in a high vibe. I was in the mode of I'm gonna try and stop people suffering, right? While I'm fucking suffering, right? So now I'm in this new me and I'm finally being like, yes, I have a spiritual business. Yes, I do this. Yes, I would love to help you, right? Like I am in a much different space. And so my new quote unquote me was triggered, or young or older me was triggered. Either way, they were both kind of triggered about this in between. Like I am not just a nurse anymore. Like, guys, like it's not who I am, right? Like that. It was like that was like that. It's like I'm not just a nurse. They're not just coming because I'm a nurse. They're actually coming to me because of this that I actually believe that I could step into, and I stepped into it, right? So it's just super interesting because we're all stepping into different things. And so we can either choose to step back and be in the suffering and not move forward and just keep getting the hit and the hit and the hit, move forward. You're not happy, you're not happy. You can see as many people as you want that can give you tools to make you happy, but it's not until you do the tools and make the changes and start creating your new blueprint, your floor plan, will the dismantling fully happen to build your new building, your new structure, right? Because you need to clear all of the energy, all of the beliefs, everything. You need to clear it. And clearing it is accepting it and appreciating that that was and that is a part of you, but it no longer is to bring you into this new state of being. And that's literally what we're all going through. So if you're lucky enough, as in, if you're listening closely enough to your internal system, to your heart, to your spirit, you can align with exactly what it is that you want. And it's happening at the same time. It's all happening at the same time. So with that, you're going to have moments of extreme energy and excitement, and I can go and do this because I'm in the flow, I'm in the vibe, right? But then you can have days where your body hurts and you're like, what is this? Like, oh my God, and I want to work, I want to do my stuff today, but I can't. Or I just feel like crying today. Or I feel like just walking today and not doing my work. It's all okay because you're literally dismantling as you're rebuilding at the same freaking time. Same time. So to have grace with yourself, patience with yourself, appreciate that you're in both of them and that you're a fucking badass spirit here on this human journey to be in both at the same time. So you can, phoenix. That's what a true phoenix is, rising in the freaking ashes, right? You have to. You can only get your wings and fly if you learn how to. But stuff needs to fall away. The belief that you can't fly needs to fall away. It needs to fall away. Let me see if there's anything colossal epiphanies. The other one. When it goes back to before you're born, you chose your parents, you chose your job, you choose all these things. You don't just choose one. There's many potentials you put out there. Like, okay, if I date this person, then I'll probably do this, and then this will happen. All right. If I don't work through this, and this disease is going to happen in my body, right? Stuff like that. Now, if you begin, so Spirit brought this in loudly. Healing is easy. I was like, what? And they were like, remembering, not so much, right? But healing is easy. And I said, what do you mean? And it was like this. If people just trusted in their medicine, trusted that, let's say a headache is coming up for a reason, and that trust that they have the power to connect to the energy of their headache to relieve the headache, healing would be easy. It's easy. This is what people have amnesia from, that it's easy because you are your creator. So if you just create the ability to trust, you can heal on numerous levels. If you trust in yourself that if I just do these little things each day, I'll begin to remember on a visceral, deep soul level my highest self, my potential, my expansive, endless, limitless, boundless energy. Everything can just be easier. Like, if you trust that no emotion is a bad emotion, the emotion's coming up to teach you something, healing's easy. You just gotta work at it. And sooner or later it's quick. And I was like, huh. And he goes, it's the ego. It doesn't want to remember that the spirit's in control because the ego likes control, and the ego if it trusted that the spirit had it all figured out, life would be easy. And then the ego wouldn't be able to control anything. And no one would be able to be controlled because the ego trusts in the spirit. And the spirit happens when you're in your heart center. Not just like, hey, heart, come on board, but you intentionally connect with your heart to dismantle the ego, but not because you hate the ego, but because you appreciate the ego. You appreciate that you chose to come in here to have an ego, to experience and to share your expansive, beautiful soul frequency energy with this universe. So it's the remembering that's hard because we have this ego that doesn't trust. And that's powerful. That's powerful. And so when we go through these, like, wow, I can create this, I can do that, I can do that. And then later it's like, that's too big, I can't do that. That's the ego. That's literally the ego, not trusting that the spirit is showing this because it's your possibility. Like, and there's literally no veil dropping anymore. I mean, there's no veil. It's already dropped. So that veil has crumbled. So that's why also people are like, oh my God, like, and feeling more stuck than ever because their spirit is talking louder and louder and louder. And the ego's like, no, 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 no. Right. It's just fascinating. It's all really just fascinating. Because we're the creators. Like, we're the freaking creators. I mean, it's just fascinating. So, yeah, I'm learning to own who I am in a new empowering way because I'm actually empowering others. When in nursing, I really wasn't. Like, I thought I was. But handing you pills and like giving you chemo and shipping you on and off to radiation, sending you home with a checklist of things to do, that's not feeding your soul. That's not. I could sit there and make you laugh. That's only a temporary thing, right? It's not healing you because only you can heal you. But the ego doesn't trust it because you grew up in a society that's like, no, everything that heals you is outside of you, which is bullshit. So, but you can call bullshit on this. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just aligning with my truth and wanting to just share whatever's coming in for you because I trust that we can all figure it out, but we cannot all figure it out if we're still allowing ourselves to be in other people's suffering and thinking we can fix other people. And I'm just going to drop this. If you go to a psychic or you go to someone for a reading because you want to know something about someone else's life, or you want to know when you're going to get married or when you're going to get this, when you're going to get that, they'll share with you what's coming in. But it's never giving you the answer and the fulfillment that you need because you're so concerned about everything outside of you because the parts inside of you are so concerned with you. They want you to pay attention to them, right? And it's not until you pay attention to them that you realize the only person I can quote unquote fix is me. Because I can't fix anyone or anything else, right? Until I fix me. But we also have to learn there is no fixing. We're not fucking broken. We're not. We're not fucking broken. We're disconnected from our spirit because our ego has been conditioned, programmed to not trust that our spirit is limitless, that our spirit has created this life, that we chose to come here to experience all above, below, around, and in between. Everything. Everything. And something fascinating that I heard last night, and I'm just going to end with this. We're all going through a 360 individually and as a whole collective, every human, right? We're going to keep going into these 360s until we make a change. Each person needs to make an individual change by connecting to all 5 of their senses. So 360, minus five senses, right? Is 355. We have 355 sensory receptors in our entire body that we have been taught to numb out, to disregard, that have gotten us sick, imbalanced, stuck, and disconnected. So it is not until each one of us individually taps into our senses, our five senses, into the sensory receptors in our physical human body that we chose to incarnate into, to drop our spirit into, to experience all the receptors, can we help anybody else? Because we need to experience. So right now, as a collective and individually, we are all being called to look in the freaking mirror at ourselves, at our heart, and be like, what receptors have I numbed out? What receptors am I not aware of? What senses am I not connected to? Right? If you think you're not clairvoyant, start there. If you think you're not clairaudient, start there. If you don't think you're any clear, start there. Right? If you decide, no, I'm good. I don't want to do any of that. Okay, you're just going to keep going into these cycles of, in a couple of years, you're back at the same place you are now, feeling stuck or depressed or anxious. Like, you're just going to keep going around these circles until you connect with those five senses to activate and to be one with the 355 receptors in your body, right? Most importantly, trust that your spirit is the one leading the show based on your potentials that you've put into play. And it's about remembering your spirit. I love you. And I hope this helped anybody. Have a good day. Love you. And if you need support, I offer soul alchemy coaching. It's life. It's beautiful investment, transforming. You can book a limitless session. I offer regression hypnotherapy. You want to connect with your guides. You want to see what your purpose is and how you align to it and need the steps and tools, reach out to me or Maria. We got you. We got you. We don't want to see these 360s into back down. We want to see the 360s into the higher spirals of owning who you are, loving who you are, remembering who you are. So I love you.